I get a lot of panicked calls like this from doctors and risk managers. It's the justice system's version of a level 1 trauma, and just like in an ER, triage, calm and clear thinking, and sound, considered actions are the keys to effective response. Let's talk about the various things that can happen and which have happened to clients of mine. Example 1. The DEA shows up for an unannounced administrative inspection. You're about to see your afternoon patients when suddenly there are 2 diversion investigators in your lobby and your receptionist looks really scared. The DEA has authority to visit unannounced and receive immediate access to all prescription records going back 2 years. You are required to maintain these records on the premises in organized condition for inspection on demand. Denial of access to the records will result in the DEA's obtaining a search warrant for the premises, and while they wait for a judge to sign the warrant, they'll kick your patients out and detain you and your staff. You then may face discipline for noncompliance. So what do you do? If you have the records, you say, here are the records, there's the conference room, there's the coffee, there's the restroom, and then you leave them to their business and you get on the phone to your lawyer or your medical malpractice insurer. You cooperate fully, and you instruct your staff to cooperate in allowing the agents access to your prescription records. If the records are not present or up to date, you cooperate with the agents. You tell them the situation, and you make arrangements with them to have the records compiled and transported as soon as possible, meaning the next day at the latest. Then you get on the phone to your lawyer or your medical malpractice company. Example 2. Agents show up with a search warrant. What do? You cooperate. You allow them access to the premises, you follow instructions, you instruct staff to do the same, and as soon as you are permitted access to a phone, you call your lawyer or your medical malpractice company. Agents will be there a long time. Lead your staff through a difficult experience by being the last to leave, not the first, when agents permit individuals to depart. But in each of these situations, you are not obligated to submit to any interviews, and neither is your staff. Neither I nor any other lawyer can flat out tell you to not talk with the police. However, if I were your lawyer, I couldn't urge you strongly enough to avoid being drawn into a conversation with police who obviously suspect you of committing a crime. Finally, what about signing something as opposed to saying something? The answer is it depends on what you are being asked to sign. If the DEA arrives for an administrative inspection and you are asked to acknowledge in writing that you understand their authority and their right to access your prescription records, you can sign that. But don't sign anything that says you're waiving rights or giving something up or acknowledging misconduct or resolving an allegation or surrendering a privilege or doing anything that will threaten your ability to practice medicine or pharmacy the way you want to the minute you sign it. Beware the dreaded DEA Form 104, the voluntary surrender of your DEA certificate. As soon as you sign it, you give up your right to prescribe any controlled substance Schedule 2 through 5. There is no administrative review or appeal of a voluntary surrender. If you have questions about whether to sign something, call your lawyer or your medical malpractice company. If you are not permitted access to the phone to make that call, then you have to be strong and follow your gut. These things can be hard to remember when you learn them in a moment of calm, but only have occasion to apply them in a moment of turmoil. So let's reiterate. Yes, cooperate. No, don't think you have to be drawn into a conversation or interview. And no, don't think you have to sign something just because agents tell you it'll make things easier. Remember, rights only matter when you fight for them, or after you've made the mistake of relinquishing them too quickly. I welcome you to call or email if you have any questions or if you need help. Remember, you would always tell a person you cared about to go see a doctor now, not later, if they thought there were a medical problem. You deserve the same consideration and care before the fateful knock on the door from an agent carrying a search warrant and ready to do you harm. Follow your own good advice and practice legal wellness, It's just what the doctor's lawyer ordered.